The story begins with Tian Industries actively conducting exploration at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. They intentionally explored to find new resources at that depth. Additionally, the company also conducts research on various rare animals that have never been found before. However, their exploration activities disrupt the entire marine ecosystem. In Tian Industries headquarters, there are hundreds of employees involved in these activities. They spend a lot of their time underwater, thus losing track of time. The dark conditions underwater make them lose their understanding of day and night. So these employees can stay there for quite a long time. We are introduced to the main character, Nora, who is brushing her teeth before bed. Nora has been working at the company for months, and she is responsible for the mechanical engineering department, so she has a deep knowledge of machines. However, she feels something is wrong when a window suddenly opens by itself. She immediately goes out to investigate the situation. However, she is surprised when drops of water fall in front of her, even though the place should be watertight. Then seawater suddenly floods the room they are in. Nora tries to wake up her sleeping colleagues, but it's too late as the flood comes so quickly. They run to another room and try to close the door to prevent water from entering. However, two of their colleagues don't make it there because the water has already entered. Nora is forced to close the door, even though two of their colleagues haven't arrived because the situation is very critical. In the end, only the two of them survive the incident. It turns out the man is known by the name Rodrigo. Rodrigo asked, "Was that a big earthquake earlier?" However, Nora could only reply that she didn't have any information about it. After that, Nora tried to contact other nearby stations, but couldn't establish a connection. Nora's attempts to contact people on the surface also yielded no results, as the communication lines between the land and the seabed had been severed. Nora and Rodrigo then tried to reach the server room that connected to other underwater stations. Unfortunately, most of the room was severely damaged, so they couldn't communicate with other stations. Therefore, to find a way to the mainland, Nora searched for pods or capsules in the evacuation room. The pods or capsules were evacuation tools that could be launched from the seabed to reach the surface quickly, and usually could only accommodate one person. Next, Nora and Rodrigo moved to the evacuation room, but halfway there, they heard cries for help. Nora immediately headed towards the source of the sound and found a man named Paul. The three of them tried to reach the evacuation room, but all the capsules had been used except one occupied by Captain Lucian. Nora asked her captain if most of the damage was caused by the earthquake, but her captain also had no information about it. Nora asked why her captain was still there, even though there were rescue capsules available. But her captain explained that his duty was to prioritize the safety of others over himself. He had already sent 22 people to the surface. That's why he was still there. They finally arrived at the control base room and found Emily and Smith. Since earlier, Emily and Smith had been trying to send messages to the mainland to request help because of severe damage that caused the place to leak. Their captain realized that the place was no longer safe to stay. Their captain had a crazy idea that they should walk to the Roebuck station. Everyone felt resigned when the captain revealed his plan. They had no choice but to agree for their safety. After preparing themselves, Rodrigo handed the helmet to Nora. However, as they descended, Rodrigo's helmet broke due to the high water pressure.
Hang on to something, because
Rodrigo actually knew his helmet was damaged from the start, but he chose not to give it to Nora and wore it himself. They realized that Rodrigo was willing to sacrifice himself to save Nora. Rodrigo's death saddened Nora greatly, but she also felt touched by Rodrigo's sacrifice. The captain asked them to hurry, not to waste time. They waited elsewhere to refill their oxygen tanks. When they found a stuck capsule due to power outage, the captain asked Paul and Smith to check it, hoping there was someone alive inside. However, they were shocked to see a strange creature that had eaten the person inside the capsule. The creature attacked them, but they managed to escape after firing a flare at it. They immediately brought the creature into the station. Inside, they were surprised because they had never seen a creature species like that before. Suddenly, there was a powerful jolt that shut down all power in the station. They were attacked fiercely, forcing them to leave the place.
Oh my God!
On their way to the midpoint station, they faced obstacles. The path they were supposed to take was too narrow, due to collapsed buildings. The captain ordered them to find another way, but Nora stated that she could check inside because she was the smallest among them. Nora entered the narrow path and found out that her colleagues could pass through. She asked them to enter one by one to avoid getting stuck. They managed to pass through the narrow path except for Paul. Paul was pulled by the creature, even though his colleagues tried to pull him back. The pull of the creature was too strong, causing Paul's body to be severed and he died. After losing Paul, they were left with 4 of them. They realized that their disruptive behavior in the marine environment caused the creature's attacks. After realizing their mistake, they immediately headed to Roebuck. But before leaving, the captain checked Smith's severely damaged oxygen tank, which couldn't be used anymore. Smith told them to go without him, but Nora insisted on helping him if he encountered any problems. The 4 of them set off to the seabed towards Roebuck, but the creature suddenly dragged Smith into a cave. Before entering, the captain tied a rope to Nora so she could pull him back if anything happened. The captain tried to get Smith out of the cave, but he himself was pulled by the creature. As the rope was still connected, Nora was also pulled along with the captain. They ended up trapped in a very high place. Nora was attacked by the creature, but her captain didn't just watch. The captain tried to fight the creature, but they both fell. When the captain fell, Nora tried to reach him, but the pressure increased as they fell, which could crush them both. Because the captain didn't want Nora to get crushed too, he asked Nora to release her tether, and ultimately the captain was forced to sacrifice himself. After surviving, Nora immediately headed to a safe place called Borsebert. She tried to contact Smith and Emily, but there was no signal. Nora decided to descend to find them, but first, she changed her damaged wetsuit with another one. Luckily, Nora understood about wetsuits due to her background as a mechanical technician, so she could fix it. Nora found Smith and Emily after walking in the sea. They hurried to the Roebuck station and helped Smith, who was severely injured because his oxygen tank was damaged. They headed to Roebuck because there were rescue capsules there. But when they arrived at the Roebuck door, they were attacked by the creatures that had attacked them before. They tried to pass through the creature's lair, but Nora got caught. Nora ordered Emily to go take Smith to a safer place. Nora fought against the creatures with a flare gun, but many other creatures chased her. Nora ran to Roebuck, while Emily went out to help. They struggled to reach Roebuck before running out of oxygen. Once there, they found rescue capsules, but only 2 were operational. Nora lied to Emily that the 3 of them would survive, but Emily became suspicious. Nora forced Emily into her capsule, then released the other capsules.
What's that? Anything.
The creatures tried to chase the capsule occupied by Smith and Emily, but Nora stopped them by detonating the place, ultimately killing all the creatures and herself.
So let's light this shit up.
Only 2 people survived the incident. Cheon Industries refused to be interviewed about covering up the event, and the story came to an end.